gold standard and is starting to lean towards eliminating business with Nazi Germany and Japan due to their political positions. Leaving the gold standard was a major problem for many high-ranking officials, businessmen and bankers in 1933. Although there were several recognized issues with money backed by gold, such as dependency on gold production and short-term price instabilities, many bankers were fearful that their gold-backed loans would not be paid back in full by the president's new policies. Butler saw these issues no different from Woodrow Wilson declaring war against Imperial Germany and Austria-Hungary in 1917, because if the Allies lost that war, billions of dollars would be lost that were held in European banks, and Wilson owed a lot of political favors. In addition, FDR's social projects, such as the Tennessee Valley Authority Act of 1933, smacked of communist-style socialism and required the wealthy businessmen to compete with the federal government on bidding their projects, if there were any bids at all. The plan was to bring Butler in to lead a 500,000-man private army and lead a peaceful march into Washington, D.C. in a show of force to replace Roosevelt in favor of a nationalist government run by the military, leaving FDR as a figurehead. Knowing that this was perhaps the most serious violation of the U.S. Constitution, Butler declined, and he was hauled into McCormick-Dixon congressional committees on un-American activity in November 1934. Ironically, those whom Butler accused of plotting to overthrow the government called him a liar. Those he accused included the DuPont and Rockefeller families, Prescott Bush, the father and grandfather of both presidents, Robert Sterling Clark, an heir to the Singer sewing machine fortune, Gerald C. McGuire, a bond salesman, and Robert Doyle. McGuire and Doyle were prominent members of the American Legion and had amassed a fortune in their Legion account that was not used to help veterans. Instead, they were using that money to try and organize an army of veterans that would serve their purposes, and they had help from Bush and others. Butler gave his testimony and provided his evidence, including the testimony and written notes of Philadelphia record writer Paul Comley French, who agreed to meet with McGuire as well. During this meeting, McGuire told French that he believed a fascist state was the only answer for America, and that Smedley was the ideal leader because he could organize 1 million men overnight. Later, it was stated that everything Butler testified to under oath was verified to be accurate, but Butler had the evidence. Quickly becoming known as the White House coup and the Wall Street putsch, many major news sources, owned by these big business groups, derided Butler's claims, as the committee's final report was not made available to the public. It was considered too explosive. In essence, Butler had exposed the fact that big business dictated American foreign policy for financial gain. They owned the politicians all the way to the White House, and that we, the people, paid for it with our lives. Those implicated laughed off Butler's claims. Evidence of the validity of Butler's testimony was not released until the 21st century, when the committee's papers were published in the public domain. No one was ever prosecuted in connection to the plot. What is now known was that Major General Smedley Butler, a critic of unrestricted capitalism, was also a staunch opponent of militarized socialism, once again becoming a hero when he stood up to the wealthiest and most powerful men in the country who wanted to overthrow a president. Butler also made many enemies, as he was also opposed to Jim Crow laws and a segregated military. He felt that black and Native Americans should have all the rights of whites, and that should include no discrimination in society or the military. Smedley Butler died on June 21, 1940, his reputation as a warrior and patriot intact, as was his legacy of service to the nation and the Constitution. We hope you enjoyed this segment of Forgotten History. Please click like and subscribe for free. And please stay tuned and be engaged and informed. Send us comments if you have questions or even show ideas, and we will respond to all requests and comments as soon as we can. Thank you.